Hi, my name is Precious, and one of my bachelor's of science is in psychology. Today, we're going to talk about neurohacks to stop procrastinating and start thriving. Procrastination affects everyone. We all know the promise of putting something off right now and doing it later and never doing it until the very last minute. What if I told you that procrastination is not just about laziness? It's about your brain trying to protect you from stress, discomfort, or fear. In this video, I'm going to break down the neuroscience of procrastination and also share some science-backed neurohacks that will help you shift from avoidance to action. Okay, now let's talk about the brain's role and why we procrastinate. Procrastination is deeply rooted in the limbic system. This is the part of your brain that is responsible for your emotions, your survival instincts, and also pleasure seeking. When your brain senses discomfort, for example, the stress of a big project or the fear of failure, it tries to protect you by choosing something easier and more immediately rewarding. Meanwhile, your prefrontal cortex, which is the rational section of your brain that is responsible for decision making and planning, knows what you should actually be doing. But your limbic system sometimes often wins in that moment, especially when the task just seems extremely intimidating. But the good news is that you can break that cycle and retrain your brain to take control. Now, let's talk about neurohacks to overcome procrastination. The first one is the 5-minute rule. So what you're gonna do is trick your brain into starting. Your brain sees big tasks as threats, but it doesn't fear small action. The 5-minute rule is simple. Tell yourself you only have to work on that task for just 5 minutes. And then you'll find out once you start, momentum takes over. This lowers the emotional resistance and allows your prefrontal cortex to take over. This hack works perfect because sometimes your brain just needs a little push to get you into the motion. Starting rewires the fear-based pattern into one of action. The next one is use dopamine to your advantage. So dopamine is your brain's motivation and also your brain's reward chemical. So instead of just relying on discipline, create and structure your environment in a way that creates or reinforces dopamine hits that encourages you to start. Break your task into smaller wins and celebrate each one. The more dopamine you release through progress and achievement, the more motivated your brain is to keep going. You can also pair tasks with positive reinforcement. So if you studied and you did what you were supposed to do, you can listen to music while you're cleaning, or you can just take yourself on a small walk. This works perfect because over time, your brain starts to associate productivity with pleasure instead of playing. The third key step is for you to reframe the task emotionally. Procrastination often stems from negative emotions, so things like fear, doubt, or boredom. But the brain is highly responsive to reframing. So instead of saying things like, I have to do this, reframe that into, I get to do this. Remind yourself that this brings you closer to your goals. When you emotionally reframe the task, you lower the limbic system's resistance and strengthen your sense of purpose. This helps rewire your emotional response from dread to drive. The fourth step is to move your body to activate focus. Physical movement increases blood flow to the brain. It also releases neurotransmitters like dopamine, norepinephrine that enhance motivation, attention, and clarity. A short walk or a few minutes of stretching can help reset your mental state. Also, random fact, but exercise also strengthens your prefrontal cortex. This makes it so much easier for your brain to override those emotional impulses and actually follow through on the task that you need to do. The last step is to create implementation intentions. This is a powerful tool where you pre-decide when and where you'll take action. For example, something like this. After I brush my teeth at 8 a.m., I'll sit down and complete my essay. This technique is so useful because it uses the brain's natural habit-forming system to eliminate ambiguity. When the cue arrives, your brain doesn't need to waste energy deciding, it just does it. Over time, this creates a reliable habit loops that replaces procrastination with productivity. This is your reminder, procrastination is not just a personal flaw, it's a brain habit. The amazing part is that the brain can be rewired. Use these neurohacks, start small, trigger dopamine, frame emotionally, move your body, and create specific cues. Doing this can train your brain to take actions more consistently. That is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, and let me know if you'd like me to further expand on this video. That is all for now. Bye.